Batting second, number 99, Brianna True. Batting third, number 23, Kathleen Sims. At cleanup, number 2, Keisha White.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Barbara Williams Softball Complex for today's matchup between the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils and the Alabama State Hornets. This is the first matchup in SWAC competition, and we're going to have a great game for you today on a cool and windy day here in the capital city of Montgomery, Alabama. I'm Joseph Moore bringing you the play-by-play today, and as you can hear in the background, we've got our starting lineups coming up. And as you can hear those in the background, I'll go ahead and give you the Mississippi Valley State Delta Devils starting lineup. The Delta Devils come in 1-12 on the year. Leading off for Mississippi Valley State, left fielder number 11, Jade Smith. At second, number 99, right fielder Brianna Troop. At second base, number 23, Kathleen Sims. At center field, number 2, Keisha White. At catcher, number 9, Caitlin Harper. In the sixth spot, shortstop, number 22, Michaela Fleming. At third base, number 7, Shelby Carson. At first base, number 13, Kayla Robinson. And rounding out the Delta Devil lineup at designated hitter, number 0, Naomi Drake. We've got a great game here for you tonight. Is this the first game in SWAC competition? As these will all count for the SWAC championship here tonight. And in just a moment, we will rise for the national anthem, and I'll give you the Alabama State lineups coming up in just a moment. And here are starting lineups for the Alabama State Hornets, who are coached by Todd Bradley. They come in 11-9 on the season. Batting first, designated hitter, number 2, Madison Myers. At center field, number 1, Kendall DeRamus. At right field, number 5, Alexia Denby. At first base, number 27, Alex Preston. At catcher, number 4, Lauren Maher. At shortstop, number 22, Kiana Parrish. Your pitcher, number 3, Bailey Greenlee. At left field, number 25, Janiyah Boykin. And finally, rounding out, at second base, number 14, Jada Gardner. And your flex hitter is third baseman, number 33, Riley Baker. Pitching tonight is number 3 for the Hornets, Bailey Greenlee. And also for Mississippi Valley State, number 20, Glenaba Tosi. And we're about to get started here. As you can see live, Bailey Greenlee is warming up on the pitcher's circle. Temperature here in Montgomery is a cool 63 degrees. And I'm not sure if we'll reach the low of number 49 degrees during the ball game here tonight, but it should be around 60, 58, 56 degrees to close out today's game. It's the first of three against SWAC foe Mississippi Valley State. As we're getting ready for the first pitch, as Bailey Greenlee reaches on the pitcher's circle, as we're getting ready for live softball here tonight. And the first pitch by Jade Smith at the left fielder, number 11. She tried to go for the bunt, but managed to hit it back in foul territory. First pitch time here in the capital city is 5:02 p.m. And as I said earlier, this is the first of a 3-game series this weekend against the Delta Devils. And the next pitch is 0-2, your count. And that'll be strike 3 for Mississippi Valley State.
Now batting number 42, Brianna True.
And that'll be the first out to start this game here tonight. And up to bat, number 99, Brianna Troop. And the first pitch by Greenlee is called strike. And the next pitch by Greenlee is fouled back and will be 0-2 on Troop. And the next pitch just outside is 1-2. And let's see if Greenlee can sit Troop down. And the 1-2 is fouled back. Only one out for the Delta Devils. And the 1-2 by Greenlee is still fouled back. Troop hanging in there with 2 outs, or with 2 strikes. And hit to the third baseman, and that will be out number 2 for Mississippi Valley State.
Next up at bat, number 23, Kathleen Sims.
And now up for Mississippi Valley State, number 23, second baseman Kathleen Sims. 2 outs right now. Greenlee doing a great job on the plate. And that will be called strike 1 for Sims. And the 0-1 is fouled back into the net. And the catcher, Lauren Maher, tried to go for it, but just missed it. And Greenlee with the 0-2. Low and outside for ball one. Count now 1-2 with 2 outs for the Delta Devils. And Greenlee with the 1-2 is popped up. And just to my left side of the Alabama State dugout. Near the Alabama State dugout, therefore. 1-2 still the count with 2 outs. And on the 1-2 pitch, hit to left field, and that'll be out number 3 for Mississippi Valley State. And with no runs, no hits, no errors, none left on base, we move to the bottom of the first inning. 0-0 your score, heading to the bottom of the first. And welcome back to the Barbara Williams Softball Complex. Coming up to bat for Alabama State, the designated hitter, number 2, Madison Myers. And the pitcher for Mississippi Valley State is Glenaba Tusi. And the count, 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch. Just a little high there for 2 balls and no strikes. The 2-0. Called strike. Strike 1 for Madison Myers. And the 2-1 pitch is bunted towards the third baseman. And with 1 out for Alabama State.
Batting second, number 1, Kendall DeRaymond.
And batting second for Alabama State, number 1, Kendall DeRamus. And the first pitch is called ball. And the 1-0 pitch. Just high and outside. Now 2 balls and no strikes. And the 2-0 pitch called strike 1 for DeRamus. And the 2-1. DeRamus thought about bunting, but thought better of it. 3-1 the count. The 3-1 pitch will walk DeRamus over to first.
Next up at bat, number 5, Alexia Denby.
And up to bat, number 5, right fielder Alexia Denby, the sophomore, coming in with a .339 batting average. And the first pitch for Denby is called strike 1. And DeRamus made her way over to second for the steal. Count 0-1. Runner on position at second base. And the 0-1. And DeRamus is just inching her way over to third. The 1-1 pitch is hit out in to right field, and that'll be out number 2 for the Hornets. And DeRamus stayed at second. And coming up to bat, number 27, Alex Preston. .315 batting average coming into this game. 2 outs for the Hornets. Runner in position on second. And the first pitch for Preston is ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, low and inside for ball 2. Ball 4 for Alex Preston. That'll put a runner on first and still a runner on second.
Batting fifth, number 4, Lauren Maher.
And coming up to bat in the 5th spot, number 4, Lauren Maher. And the first pitch to Maher is way outside. And that'll be ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch. And we've got a steal coming into third. And DeRamus is safe at third base. Count now 2-0. The 2-0 pitch is called strike one on Maher. 2-1 the count with 2 outs. And the 2-1 is fouled back. Glad there were no fans in the stands right there as it went into the bleachers here at the complex. Two the count with 2 outs for Maher. High and outside for Sosi. Full count. The 3-2 is still on the foul line there near third base. The 3-2 popped up. And here comes the catcher. And she missed it on the net. And that'll put Maher back at home plate. The 3-2. In foul territory again. Slid down the net. But Maher is still in it. Again, the full count pitch. High and a little outside. That'll put Maher at first base. And now coming up in the 6th spot, 6, 7, and 8 coming up next as Kiana Parrish comes up to bat. Kiana with the .304 batting average. And with 2 outs, the first pitch is low in the dirt for ball 1. The 1-0, again high and outside. And the count, 3-0. The 3-0 pitch. Low and just outside the corner of the plate. And that will advance the runner from third on the walk. Make the score 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. And that'll make steal bases loaded. As Kendall DeRamus scored, Alex Preston advanced to third, Lauren Maher advanced to second, and that'll put Kiana Parrish on first. And up to bat, the pitcher, number 3, Bailey Greenlee. And with 2 outs, the first pitch is strike 1. And Greenlee pops one out to center field, and that'll be out number 3 for the Alabama State Hornets. And with 1 run, no hits, no errors, 3 left on base, we move to the top of the second inning with your score, Alabama State 1, Mississippi Valley State 0. Back live here in the capital city as we move to the top of the second inning as Mississippi Valley State comes up to bat. And up to bat, the center fielder, number 2, Keisha White. 5, 6, and 7 batters coming up next. And the first pitch by Greenlee is called strike 1. And the next pitch, Greenlee kind of slipped out of her hand as she threw it. But that'll be ball 1 for Keisha. 1-1 in the count. Top of the second inning, no outs. And right there on the corner of the base is strike 2. And the 1-2 is popped out into left field. And that will put White over to first base. Solid hit for the Delta Devils.
Batting fifth, number 9, Caitlin Harper.
And coming up to bat, number 9 in the 5th spot, Caitlin Harper. And the bunt is fouled back into the net. And the next pitch by Greenlee is bunted, And she throws it over to first base for out number 1. One out for the Delta Devils here in the top of the second.
Number 22, Michaela Fleming.
And coming up in the 6th spot, number 22, Michaela Fleming. And the first pitch by Greenlee is strike 1. And the 0-1 is now 0-2 for Fleming. To the count, and the pitch is called ball 1 for Fleming. I think Greenlee thought that she had it there, but unfortunately it was just not there. And the 1-2 pitch is fouled back into the net. And Greenlee with the 1-2, and it is popped up to the third baseman, and that'll make out number 2 for Mississippi Valley State.
Next up at bat for Mississippi Valley State, number 7, Shelby Carson.
And coming up to bat, the third baseman, number 7, Shelby Carson. And the first pitch is fouled back for strike 1. And the 0-1, low and inside for ball 1. The Delta Devils with a runner at second base. And the 1-1 is fouled back again into the net. And that'll be strike number 2 for Fleming. Correction, Shelby Carson. And the 1-2 to Carson is hit into left field at the warning track. And they've got to get the ball in here. They do get the cutoff. And that'll put that'll put Carson over at second base. And that will bring in number 2, Keisha White. 1-1 now the score here in the top of the second. And the first pitch by Greenlee to Kayla Robinson is strike 1. And the next pitch fouled back for strike 2. 2 outs for Mississippi Valley State. And the next pitch. Man, oh man, I thought Greenlee had the strike on that one for strike 3. But it managed to be ball 1. And the next pitch. High and outside for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes is the count for Robinson. And the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 for Robinson. Great pitch by Greenlee, as we'll move to the bottom of the 2nd inning with 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base for Mississippi Valley State. The score, Mississippi Valley State 1, Alabama State 1.
2 hits, 0 errors with 1 left on base.
And back live here in Montgomery, Joseph Moore here in the broadcast booth for Alabama State softball. Coming up to bat. Coming up to bat now, number 25, Janiah Boykin. And the first pitch by Sosi is ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch. Just outside of the base on the corner for ball number 2. Sosi with the 2-0. Strike 1. Boykin coming in with a .412 batting average on the season. And the 2-1 is popped up into third, into left field, and caught by the third baseman for out number 1.
Next up at bat, number 14, Jada Gardner.
And in the final spot in the batting order, number 14, Jada Gardner. And the first pitch by Sosi. Outside of the plate for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch. Strike 1 on Gardner. Sosi with the 1-1. Gardner tried to go for the bunt there. but made it ball number 2. The 2-1 is popped out into left field, and the left fielder drops it, and that will put Gardner on first base. And coming back up at the top of the lineup, number 2, Madison Myers. And the first pitch to Myers is ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch right across the plate for strike 1. And the 1-1 pitch is hit to the third baseman, bobbles it up, throws it over to first, and Myers makes her way over to second as the missed timing by the first baseman put an error on the board for Mississippi Valley State.
Next up at bat, number 1, Kendall Duramus.
And that brought over Myers for the run for Alabama State. Score now 3-1. 2-1, excuse me. And Kendall Duramus up to bat, and Duramus tries to go for the bunt. And that'll be strike 2 for Duramus. Sosi with the 0-2. Ooh. High and outside, or high pitch, excuse me, which rolled back towards the padding. Still count 0-2. That moved a runner over to third base. The 0-2 pitch is fouled back. Still 0-2 the count. We've got a runner in scoring position, Myers. And the 0-2. Moved Duramus over to first base. So now we've got a runner at first and third, scoring position at third. And coming up to bat, number 5, Alexia Denby. Sosi with the first pitch is called ball 1. Myers tried to make her way towards home, but ran her back. Did the catcher. And the 1-0 pitch is fouled back into the Delta Devil dugout, and that'll make strike 1. Count now 1-1 with 1 out. The 1-1 is popped up past the bullpen, the Delta Devil bullpen, and that'll make strike 2 for Denby. And the 1-2 to Denby. Outside the corner of the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. The 2-2 hit out into left center, and that will bring Myers around. And here comes DeRamus, and that'll make 2 runs for the Alabama State Hornets, making the score 4-1 in the top of the second. Only 1 out for the Hornets.
Next up at bat for the Lady Hornets, number 27.
And coming up to bat, number 27, Alex Preston. And the first pitch to Preston is ball 1. Denby made her way over to second base. Only runner for the Hornets on base. And the 1-0 pitch. Did she go? No, she did not. A little outside there for ball 2. The 2-0 pitch. Little high there. Three and 0 the count. Sosi with the pitch. High, and that will walk Preston over to first, and that'll put Preston at first and leave Alexia Denby over at second. And we've got a little meeting here at the pitcher circle. Trying to calm Sosi down. So far, her pitches have been outside. Runners at first and second as Lauren Maher pops it over towards the net for strike 1. The 0-1 pitch is now ball 1. And the pitch by Sosi, pop back by Maher for strike 2. 1-2 the count for the Delta Devils, or excuse me, for the Hornets. The 1-2 pitch is hit over to the second baseman and thrown to second, and that'll make out number 3.
3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error, 1
And we move to the top of the third inning as we have the Hornets had 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 error, 2 left on base. We'll move to the top of the third inning with your score, Alabama State 4, Mississippi Valley State 1.
For more information on Alabama State Athletics, be sure to follow.
And welcome back as we head to the top of the third inning. The Delta Devils are at the bottom of the lineup in the 9th spot. Number 0, Naomi Drake. And as she hits it towards left field in foul territory, that'll be out number 1. That was caught by the shortstop.
Next up at bat for Mississippi Valley State.
And the shortstop was Kiana Parrish. And the next pitch by Greenlee is called ball 1. And Greenlee with a 1-0 pitch for strike 1. And the next pitch by Greenlee called for ball 2. The 2-1 fouled back. Makes it 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. It had to be on the corner of the plate. And it'll be full count with 3 balls, 2 strikes. The 3-2 pop back into foul territory. Still 3-2. The 3-2 still in it. Number 11, Jade Smith. Full count. Low pitch in the dirt. which will walk Jade Smith over to first base.
Next up at bat for Mississippi Valley State, number 42, Brianna Troop.
And bringing up in the second spot, number 99, Brianna Troop for the Delta Devils. And the first pitch is fouled back for strike one. And the 0-1 in the dirt for ball number one. The 1-1. And pop back for strike two. And the 1-2 is hit over to third base, and a little delay by the third baseman. I think she was unsure on which one to throw to, but still one out for the Delta Devils.
Next up at bat for the Devilettes, number 23, Kathleen Sims.
And coming up, number 23, Kathleen Sims. And the first pitch is bunted over to the third baseman, thrown out at first. And that'll be out number two for Mississippi Valley State, as that puts a runner on second and third for the Delta Devils.
Next up at bat, number 2, Keisha White.
And coming up to bat, center fielder number 2, Keisha White. After this, 5, 6, and 7 batters coming up for Mississippi Valley State. And the first pitch, low and inside for ball one. The 1-0. And did she go? Yes, she did, and that will be 1-1. And the next pitch to Robinson will be called ball two. 2-1 the count with 2 outs. Still have runners on second and third for the Delta Devils. The 2-1. Fouled back. We've had a lot of foul balls here tonight. Two the count for Robinson. And did she go? Thought Well, she might have had her there, but now the count 3-2 with 2 outs. Full count. Fouled back. Need just one more. And Greenlee with a 3-2. Man, oh man, that will walk. That will walk Robinson.
Next up at bat, number 9, Caitlin Harper.
Excuse me, that will walk Drake over to first. And up to bat for the Devils, number 9, Caitlin Harper. In correction, that was Keisha White, who walked over to first base. Bases loaded for the Devils. And we're going to have a runner come in at home. And that will be number 11, Jade Smith, coming in for the Delta Devils. The Hornets still with 2 outs. Pitch still 0-1. And the score now, Alabama State 4, Mississippi Valley State 2. And the next pitch on the 0-1 is hit to Greenlee for out number 3. With 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on base. We move to the bottom of the 3rd inning with your score, Alabama State 4, Mississippi Valley State 2. And back live here in the capital city of Montgomery, Alabama. Up to bat for Alabama State here in the bottom of the 3rd inning is number 22, Kiana Parrish, 304 batting average coming in on the season. Let's see what she can knock out of the park. And the first pitch by Sosi is called ball 1. We got a 3-game series this weekend. The first one is playing right now. And a little bit of information here is Sosi, not only is she pitching tonight, she's going to have to pitch tomorrow and Sunday as well. Unbelievable what this lady is going to have to go through this weekend. 3-0 the count. And that will walk Kiana Parrish over to first base and bring up in the 7th spot, number 3, Bailey Greenlee.
Number 3, Bailey Greenlee.
And I was definitely told by here in the press box that Sosi is really their only pitcher for the Delta Devils. And we were going to have a pinch runner coming in at first base. Number 9, Jordan Capel. And the first pitch by Sosi is ball 1. And the 1-0 in the dirt and thrown over to second base. And that will bring number 9, Capel, over to third base on the steal. And the count is 1-1. And the next pitch is now 2-1. The 2-1 pitch is hit over into left field, and that'll be out number 1. And Capel coming into home make the score 5-2 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Next up at bat for the Lady Hornets, left fielder number 25.
And coming up to bat, number 8, in the 8th spot, number 25, Janiyah Boykin. And with 1 out, that'll make the pitch thrown to Boykin for ball 1. The 1-0 is fouled back near the Delta Devil dugout for strike 2. And the 1-2 pitch makes it 2-2. 2-1. Sosi with the 2-1. Just outside, low and outside on the corner for ball 3. And the 3-1 will walk Boykin over to first. Still only one out.
Next up at bat for the Lady Hornets, number 14, Jada Gardner.
And we reach the bottom of the lineup with a .327 batting average, the junior, number 14, Jada Gardner. And the first pitch is called for ball one. The 1-0 is hit out into left field, and that'll make out number 2 for Alabama State.
Next up at bat, number 2, Madison Myers.
And coming up to bat, number 2, Madison Myers. Boykin still over at first. And that'll be ball one for Myers. The 1-0. Ball two. 2 outs right now in the bottom of the third inning. And the 2-0 as Boykin comes over to second base and safe at second. And the 2-0 by Sosi. Ball 3. Oh, excuse me. 2-1 the count. Three and 1 the count. And hit over into left center. And that'll move Boykin over to third in scoring position, and with 2 outs, that'll bring up number 1, Kendall Duramus. And the first pitch is ball 1. And the 1-0 just out inside and outside the plate for ball 2. The 2-0 is now 2-1 for Duramus. The 2-1 hit out into left center, and that'll make out number 3 for Alabama State. As we have 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on base. We move to the top of the 4th inning with your score, Alabama State 5, Mississippi Valley State 2.
That'll do it for the 3rd inning. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 run off 1.
And back live here in the capital city of Montgomery on a cool and windy night here in the capital city, as I'm watching the American flag tussle in the wind here as Bailey Greenlee throws the first pitch to start off the top of the fourth inning with 1 ball, no strikes. And the next pitch is called strike one. 2-1 to count as we begin the top of the fourth inning. As Michaela Fleming fouls it back and just missed it in foul territory. Did number 27, Alex Preston, but that will advance Fleming over to first base. 7, 8, 9 batters coming up. As the little discussion here will bring, we thought, Fleming back up to the batter's box. As we've got a little meeting of the minds here. And that is determined to be a foul ball, which will bring Fleming back up to the batter's box for a 2-1 count. And the 2-1 is outside for 3-1 now as the count. And the 3-2 will walk Fleming back over to first base. And that'll bring up in the 7th spot, number 7, Shelby Carson. 5-2 the score with a Hornet lead here in the top of the fourth inning. And the first pitch as Carson tried to go for the bunt. That'll make it ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch is bunted back again into the net for strike 1. Greenlee with the 1-1 and a line drive hit into foul territory. And that'll be strike 2 for Carson. And the 1-2 way inside for ball 2. The 2-2. And that'll be strike number 3 as that will sit down Carson and bring up number 13, Kayla Robinson.
Next up at bat for Mississippi Valley State, number 13, Kayla Robinson.
And the first pitch by Greenlee to Robinson is called strike one. And the 0-1 outside, and Fleming wanted to make her way over to second, but kind of put a stutter step and she went back to first base. And Greenlee with the 1-1. And that'll be 2 strikes on Robinson with 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. And the 1-2. Low and in the dirt, 4-2-2, and we thought it might have been strike 3 up here in the booth. And now the count is 2-2. And with the 2-2 count, popped up as the shortstop, Kiana Parrish, makes it 2 outs here in the top of the 4th inning.
Number 0, Naomi Drake.
And coming up in the bottom part of the lineup, number 0, Naomi Drake. Up next for the Delta Devils, 1, 2, and 3 all coming up next with 2 outs. And the first pitch to Drake is called strike 1. And Greenlee makes it strike 2 with 2 outs. We need 1 more right here. And the 0-2 is popped up. And the center fielder for Alabama State, Kendall DeRamus, makes it 3 outs with no runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left on base. We move to the bottom of the 4th inning with Alabama State 5, Mississippi Valley State 2.
0 hits, 0 errors, with 1 left on base.
And welcome back to the Barbara Williams Softball Complex as Alabama State is moving to the bottom of the 4th inning with a 5-2 lead here in this matchup with the Delta Devils. Up to bat, number 5 in the 3rd spot, Alexia Denby. And the first pitch by Sosi. My goodness. Swinging a little high there is Denby. And that'll be strike one. As I mentioned before, Sosi, the pitcher for the Delta Devils, will have to pitch as she is tonight, tomorrow, as well as Sunday, as she throws the 0-1 pitch way outside for ball one. And the next pitch on the 1-1 rolls out into left field as Denby makes her way over to first base.
Next up, batting for the Hornets, number 27, Alex.
And coming up to bat, the senior, number 27, Alex Preston. After Preston, 5, 6, and 7 batters all coming up for the Lady Hornets. Sosi with the first pitch is thrown outside for ball one. And the 1-0 pitch is hit past the third baseman into left field, and that'll move Denby over to first base, moving Denby over to second base and putting Alex Preston at first base. And coming up to bat in the fifth spot, Lauren Maher. And the first pitch by Sosi to Maher is fouled back into the net for strike one. And Maher goes for the bunt and caught by the catcher for out number one.
Next up at bat for the Lady Hornets, number 22, Kiana Parrish.
And coming up to bat, the shortstop, number 22, Kiana Parrish. 7, 8, and 9 batters coming up next for the Alabama State Hornets. And the first pitch by Sosi is fouled back behind the Delta Devil bullpen for strike one. And the 0-1 count. A little high there for ball number one. And the 1-1 pitch. Does she get her out at third? And Denby is safe at third, as Denby is also in position to score here for the Hornets. And looks like Coach Bradley is going to bring in a pinch runner here as Parrish is up to bat for the Hornets. And just a correction there, number 22, Kiana Parrish, is back in the ball game for the Lady Hornets. And the 2-1 is popped up at the second baseman for Mississippi Valley State. And that'll make out number 2 for the Hornets.
Next up at bat for the Lady Hornets, number 3, Bailey.
And coming up, the ace pitcher, number 3, Bailey Greenlee. Two outs for Alabama State. A runner on first and third. And that'll be ball number 1 for Greenlee. And the 1-0 is hit out into center field, and that'll be out number 3 for the Hornets. And with no runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base, we move to the top of the 5th inning with your score, Alabama State 5, Mississippi Valley State 2. And welcome back to Montgomery. Joseph Moore here as we move to the top of the 5th inning as the Delta Devils have reached the top of their lineup, and coming up to bat for Mississippi Valley State will be number 11, Jade Smith. And the first pitch by Greenlee, just outside the corner for, right on the corner for strike 1. And the 0-1 pitch is hit to the second baseman for Alabama State, and that'll be out number 1 for the Delta Devils.
Next up at bat for Mississippi Valley State, number 42, Brianna True.
And the first pitch by Greenlee is called strike 1. And the 0-1 is bunted back for strike 2. Be really good right here if Greenlee could make this out number 2. next pitch is now ball one. 1-2 the count with 1 out. And the 1-2 is now 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. And the next pitch is tipped back, and that'll make it still 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. And the 2-2. High and inside, almost hit her just a little bit, but that'll make the count 3-2. And the 3-2 is hit over to third base and thrown to first for out number 2.
Next up at bat, number 23, Kathleen Sims.
And coming up to bat next in the third spot, number 23, Kathleen Sims. And the first pitch is slid past the first baseman, but picked up by the second base. They did call her safe, as little collision there, as Coach Bradley is definitely going to argue that. Hard hit to number 14, Jada Gardner. And we'll see what the call is here in a moment, or what the first base umpire saw there, but it was definitely a collision there onto first base. And I don't think Coach Bradley is going to win that argument with the first base umpire, as Sims will remain on first base, and that'll bring up Keisha White for the Delta Devils. And the first pitch by Greenlee is ball 1. And the 1-0 is called for strike 1. And Greenlee with the 1-1, and that will send Sims over to second base for the steal. And that'll make the count 2-1 with 2 outs. And the 2-1 pitch is called strike 2. All right, Greenlee. Sit her down there, and a big hit by White. And that will bring in a runner for Mississippi Valley State, making the score 5-3 here in the top of the 5th inning.
Next up at bat for Mississippi Valley State, number 9, Caitlin Harper.
And coming up to bat for the Delta Devils, number 9, Caitlin Harper. And the first pitch is knocked out into left field, and that will move the runner still at second. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch runner in for Mississippi Valley. Well, thought it was going to be.
Next up at bat for Mississippi Valley State, number 22, Michaela Fleming.
And we will have a pinch runner in coming in for Mississippi Valley State. That will be number 1, LaWanda Allen.
Pinch runner at first base, number 1, LaWanda Allen.
And with 2 outs, Greenlee, woo, very high. 4 strike 1. Good pitch by Greenlee to knock her swinging. And the 0-1 is called ball number 1. And the next pitch by Greenlee outside the corner for 1-1. The 2-1 is bunted to the pitcher, and that will be out number 3 as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. And I think the head coach for the Delta Devils is wondering what's going on, as we have 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. We move to the bottom of the 5th inning with Alabama State 5, Mississippi Valley State 3. And back live here in Montgomery as we move to the 8, 9, and 1 batters on the Alabama State lineup as Janiyah Boykin comes in for the Lady Hornets. And to give a little stat here for the pitcher, Sosi, she is now on 102 pitches here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Good grief. And she's also going to have to pitch tomorrow and Sunday. And the pitch thrown by Sosi will be ball 1. And the next pitch by Sosi is called ball. And the score here in Montgomery, Alabama State 5, Mississippi Valley State 3. And the count is 2-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Sosi is going to walk number 25, Janiyah Boykin, over to first base. And that'll bring up number 14, Jada Gardner.
Number 14, second baseman, Jada Gardner.
And the first pitch by Sosi to Gardner is called ball 1. And the next pitch, as Boykin steals her way to second base. And the 1-1 pitch, as Gardner trying to go for the bunt, and that'll make 2 balls and 1 strike. And Gardner goes for the bunt and knocked back foul. And the 2-2 now makes it full count as the ball was thrown near her face mask. Full count. And that will walk Gardner over to first base. And Alabama State will come back to the top of the lineup as they bring in number 2, Madison Myers.
Madison Myers.
And Myers bunts it over to third base, and out at first is Madison Myers. That'll be 1 out for Alabama State here in the bottom of the 5th inning, but they're still holding on to a 5-3 lead.
For the Lady Hornets, number 1, Kendall DeRamus.
And here comes Kendall DeRamus in the second spot. Batters 3, 4, and 5 all coming up next for the Lady Hornets. Not sure what the umpire saw there, but as Sosi was ready for the pitch, she dropped the ball, which should have been ball number 1. But ball number 1 there, and my goodness, a little pop-up there as the first baseman for Mississippi Valley State lost control of the ball and lost where the ball was. And that will put a runner over to first base and advance. The runner over to third. And coming up to bat now for the Hornets, Jasmine Rogers, number 8. Gardner's still on third base. And that'll be ball 1 as the catcher tried to make her way over to second base, excuse me, as that will advance Kendall DeRamus over to second. And the next pitch will be ball 2 for Rogers. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. As the score is 6-3 here in the bottom of the 5th, and the count now 2-1 for Rogers. Let's bring Gardner in for the run. And the next pitch is popped up to Sosi, and that will be out number 2 for the Hornets.
Next up at bat for the Lady Hornets, number 27, Alex.
And here comes in the 4th spot, number 27, Alex Preston. And the first pitch is thrown outside for ball 1. And the next pitch is strike 1. Count now 1-1 with 2 outs. 6-3 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And with the 1-1 pitch, is hit out into left field. That'll bring 1 runner, and now bring 2 in for the score, making the score 8-3 here in the bottom of the 5th inning with 2 outs.
Next up at bat for the Lady Hornets, number 13, Madison Britt.
And here comes in for the Hornets, number 13, Madison Britt. And the first pitch outside for ball 1. And strike 1 called on Britt. And the 1-1 makes the count 2-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the pitch by Sosi outside for ball 3, excuse me. And And that'll make it ball number 4 for Britt as she'll head over to first base. Leaving number 27, Alex Preston, still on second. And we're bringing in number 22, Kiana Parrish, at bat. And now pinch running for the Hornets, number 21, Elena Scott. And that'll make the count 1 ball, no strikes with 2 outs. And did she go? She did not. That'll be ball number 2 for Parrish. And the next pitch just outside the corner there for ball 3. And now called 3-1 with 2 outs. Bottom of the 5th inning. And 3-1 hit out into left center. And that'll bring 1 run around. And going to bring around 2 and make the score 10-3.
Next up for the Lady Hornets, number 3, Bailey Greenlee.
And now coming up the ace pitcher in the 7th spot, number 3, Bailey Greenlee. And we've got a runner on second, and that is hit to the shortstop, as not really sure what she was showboating about. I mean, Alabama State is ahead 10-3.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are headed to the 6th inning.
As we're heading to the 6th inning with 5 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. We'll move to the top of the 6th inning. Alabama State 10, Mississippi Valley State 3. And welcome back to Montgomery. Mississippi Valley State up to bat as they are in the batter 7, 8, and 9 part of the lineup, as third baseman number 7, Shelby Carson, will come out to bat. Alabama State had a big inning in the bottom of the 5th inning with 5 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. Big inning there. Thought we might have gotten the mercy rule there, but 10-3 is your score as Alabama State trying to wind this game up. As we're in the top of the 6th inning, as you're listening and watching live on our Bama State Sports YouTube channel. And you can also find us at BamaStateSports.com for the live stats and my play-by-play call here tonight. Big inning for the Hornets in the bottom of the 5th as I think we've got some lineup changes coming up. And we are bound to get back started here as I believe we've got some lineup changes coming up, and we'll get this game back on the road here in just a second.
We put in a new first baseman and then a new left fielder. Those are the only changes I've seen.
And just to point out here, Leah Richardson is heading over to first base. And number 2, Madison Myers, is back in left field. And as we've got several lineup changes here, we're going to get back to playing ball here. And number 7, Shelby Carson, in for the Delta Devils as she is thrown the first pitch and fouled back into the net for strike 2. And the 0-1. Pretty close right there, Blue, but that'll be 1 ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1 in the dirt for ball 2. And the 2-1 by Greenlee. Kind of brushed by Carson there. 2-2 the count. And 3-1 full count. Let's see if Greenlee can sit Carson down to make out number 1. The 3-2 is called for ball number 4. And that will move Carson over to first base and bring up number 13, Kayla Robinson. And that will be a correction, and we do not have a 25 on our lineup here. Count now 0-1 for number 25 that we don't have on the lineup there. And thrown over to second base by the catcher for Alabama State. And that will make Carson safe at second. And number 25, Kyler Espadron, is in the game for the Delta Devils. And the 1-2 is now ball two. 2-2 the count here in the top of the sixth inning. And the 2-2 is now strike three, and that will sit Kyler down back in the dugout here.
At bat for Mississippi Valley State, number 13, Kayla Robinson.
And coming up to bat in the 8th spot for the Delta Devils, number 13, Kayla Robinson. And on ball one, that'll be 1-1 the count for Robinson. And Greenlee with the 1-1. Strike number two. She was definitely swinging for the fences there. And Robinson with two strikes. And that'll be strike number three. And that'll make it 2 outs for the Delta Devils here in the top of the sixth.
At bat for Mississippi Valley State, number 11, Jane Smith.
And coming up to bat is Jane Smith. And the first pitch is a ball. Number 11, Jade Smith up to bat. Top of the lineup for the Delta Devils. 2, 3, and 4 coming up next. And man, oh man, I can't believe he didn't call that a strike. It was there. And that'll make it 2 balls and no strikes with 2 outs. And the 2-0 is high and inside for ball 3. And the 2-0 is hit to the third baseman, missed it, thrown over to the shortstop, and thrown at first, safe for the Delta Devils.
Next up at bat for Mississippi Valley State, number 42, Brianna Troop.
And coming up to bat, number 99, Brianna Troop. And let's see what they call here as we've got a little meeting here at the pitcher's circle. And it looks like we're going to keep Bailey in there. And the first pitch by Greenlee in the dirt for ball one. And a pop-up into left field, and that'll be out number 3 for the Delta Devils. And with no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left on base, we move to the bottom of the 6th inning with your score. Alabama State 10, Mississippi Valley State 3.
0 errors with 2 left on base.
And welcome back to Montgomery. Leah Richardson up to bat for the Hornets as we are in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the pitch to Richardson is low for ball one. Casey, how many did you say? Sosi has thrown 100 and now 39 pitches, and that will be fair as Leah Richardson thought about rounding it to second, and she's on first base. Good start for the Hornets here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And just to give you a little update here, if you're keeping up with the SEC tournament, Arkansas is winning in the second half against Texas A&M 38-27. Just a little news for you there.
Now batting for the Lady Hornets.
And coming up to bat, number 14, Jada Gardner, bottom of the lineup for the Hornets. And the first pitch to Gardner is called ball one, and the pinch runner for the Hornets, Janiyah Boykin, is at second. And the 1-0 pitch is bunted. And just rolled into foul territory. That would have been the perfect bunt right there for Alabama State to bring Boykin over to third. 1-1 the count. And low for Sosi. And that'll be ball number 2. 2-1 the count. Bottom of the 6th inning. As Alabama State is trying to wind this game up here. The first of 3 here in the capital city this weekend is the first of SWAC conference play for the Hornets. And another bunt by Gardner is back in foul territory for strike 2. Now if you're Gardner, do you go for the bunt again on 2 strikes? Or do you try to knock one into the outfield? And with 2 strikes, that'll make ball 3. 3-2 the count, full count for Gardner. And hit past the shortstop, and that'll bring Boykin over to third base for the winning run. And great job by Jada Gardner on a full count to knock it past the shortstop to get on first base. And that'll bring in
At bat for the Lady Hornets, number 18.
And that'll bring in number 18, the freshman, Kelsey Long. Winning run at third. And that'll bring number 14, Jada Gardner, over to second. And that'll make it ball number 1. And the 1-0 count. Just past the corner of the base for ball 2. And the 2-0 is now 3-0. And with the 3-0 count, high, and that'll make bases loaded. And the bottom of the 6th inning, 10-3 still. Alabama State with the lead.
Next up at bat for the Lady Hornets, center fielder, number 1, Kendall Doremus.
And here comes Kendall Doremus in the second spot. 3, 4, and 5 in the batters lineup coming up next. And low and in the dirt for ball 1. And fouled back for strike 1. And Sosi with a 1-1. And it's knocked past the first baseman. That'll bring in a run and make the final score 11-3 in 6 innings. Again, your final score in the first of a 3-game series, Alabama State 10, Mississippi Valley State 3. Tomorrow, Game 2 at 3 p.m. here in the Barbara Williams Softball Complex. Again, your final score, Alabama State 10, Mississippi Valley State 3, winning in 6 innings. We will see you tomorrow at 3 here on the Alabama State Sports Network.